because I didn't have a lot of maternity leave. And no, in the United States, it's not like Germany where you get a year of maternity leave. So I had to put both of my daughters very early on into childcare. And looking back now, I wish that I would have been in a position where I could have taken more time off, but I wasn't. From 7:30 until 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. And that was a long day, and they were only 3 months old. All right, so my story, my name is Christiane. I'm so glad to be here with you this morning and sharing my story because I feel it's going to be really inspirational. And I always feel that through our stories, we also share our ups and downs that might inspire somebody else who might be in the same situation. I grew up in Germany. You might hear that by my cute accent. Been trying to get rid of my accent. My husband calls it sexy. So why would you get rid of something that's sexy? I'm not. So I'm keeping my cute accent. And that's also where all of my family is still living. And they're all living in Germany. I came here with a suitcase in my hand, not knowing anybody, and building a whole new life. In graduate school, I decided I should study abroad, took the opportunity to apply for a Fulbright scholarship. I was accepted, and then I went abroad. My life in Germany was quite wonderful, and it is probably very typical of growing up there. The one thing that I always struggled with is I always had a very sensitive stomach, and I didn't really enjoy the cold very much. So this might explain why I'm living now in California, but I will tell you a little bit more about my journey, how I got here. So yeah, growing up in Germany, cold weather, sensitive stomach, and I was kind of a super picky eater. So I was one of those children that kind of listened to her body and started to feel that there's a connection between what your gut and your body tells you and how you should respond with what you actually put in your mouth and what you do. And I started to kind of like become more in tune with who I am and started to want to control a little bit more what went in there. So that was my experience when I was a child. On the other hand, what I really enjoyed was sharing my stories, making people smile, encouraging people. And initially, I thought, well, maybe I'm going to be a really good teacher in the classroom. And, that was my daughter. Awesome. Sharing some of my insights with others so that they can learn about it. I just didn't really know exactly what I would teach. So then in my teenage years, the listening to my body and wanting to control what I put in my mouth actually turned more into an eating disorder. So at that point, I started to become so aware that some foods would really lead to bloating, digestive issues, that I wasn't even sure anymore what I should eat at this point. And that is really where I feel a lot of my helping really comes in these days, because what I ended up doing was that I started to feel this is the one thing in my life that I can control and that I have maybe some power over, how my body feels after I eat certain things. And I also became really aware as I was a teenager, my body is changing, that I really went to the other extreme and really watched what I was eating and became very aware about how I look like. I'm overly aware, really, to the point of struggling with it very much. Ended up losing my period. For years, actually, I didn't have my period at all. And in a certain way, if you think about that as a female, it sounds good, but it's really a bad sign. That's a warning signal. Your body is telling you something is not all right because you're female. And your body is signaling you that it's struggling so much that it's giving up on your reproduction at this point. So I really lacked confidence, and the only way that I felt I could get that confidence was maybe in a way that I presented myself to the world. So that was internally, but externally, when you looked at me, I was very thin, but my skin, I was breaking out. I still really hadn't figured out what I should eat. My hair was really brittle. So I had acne, skin issues, still was struggling with digestive issues, and started then becoming more interested in learning about food. So I thought, well, maybe there is a way to get out of this. And I started working in a clinic as a dietitian, helping others. So this clinic in Germany, it was doctors, nutritionists, but also exercise physiologists working together as a holistic approach and helping other people that had different medical issues and getting to the other side. I loved the work. The one thing that I didn't love was saying goodbye to the patients and then sending them home, knowing that their environment at home would bring them right back to how they got started. So they were in the clinic, they were doing great, they were exercising, they were getting the food that we made for them. They were listening to the doctors, but then I knew that whatever was at home would bring them right back to where they were before they joined the clinic. And I started thinking about this because after I received my bachelor's in foods and nutrition, I thought, this is actually what I felt my calling was, to become a dietitian, to educate others about healthy eating. And this is not really quite it yet, because I don't feel fulfillment when I say goodbye to these patients. So I became more passionate about pursuing a graduate degree. And now this is the point when I started applying to studying abroad. In my high school, I learned French, I learned English. So I thought, well, France, England, maybe even Spain. I took evening school in Spanish and applied to different programs. And then the Fulbright scholarship came up. And so I applied to study abroad in the United States. And I was accepted as a Fulbright scholar then to go to the United States. And I didn't want to just take classes, but I wanted to get a degree. So I ended up getting a master's degree in the Midwest at Kansas State University, which is also where I met my husband. So speaking about how things sometimes fall into place. So I arrived there, this 20-year-old that was trying to find herself, trying to figure out my purpose in life. I loved the university and the system of making classes more school-like. In Germany, it is very removed. So we are looking at the professors, but we're not really asking questions or interacting very much with them. In the United States, it is very like, they know your name, they make sure you come to class, there's homework, there's this interaction and this network. And I also all of a sudden felt I was part of something bigger, this academic environment. Met my husband, and he just accepted me for who I was, with all my flaws and with all my struggles. And he never really questioned why I was eating what I was eating. And all of a sudden, I realized, because he did that he accepted me who I was. I actually started overcoming my eating disorder. I started eating different foods, and also I met different foods in the United States because I went to supermarkets and I found these different items that I hadn't seen in Germany yet, whether that was fruits or vegetables, or that was just incorporating different proteins. And realized that slowly but surely I was letting go of that control that I was trying to have over my body. So after I wrote my master's thesis, actually wrote a food safety issue, I had to go back to Germany because my Fulbright scholarship asked me to go back for 2 years. I realized this is not really where I want to be. I don't want to be in Germany anymore. My home is really in the United States. So I applied to basically there is a way that you can eliminate the 2-year rule. So you have to apply for it, and it has to be approved. The 2-year rule meaning that you have to go back to your home country before you can come back to the United States. And the chances of getting it are very low. Lawyers talked to me and they said, if you do apply, this is going to be a problem if you get turned down. And the chances of being successful are not very high. And this is just who I am. I went for it anyway, by myself, without a lawyer, because I didn't have the money. And it actually was accepted. So I overturned the 2-year rule. I went back to Germany, finished my German master's degree in food economics, and then applied for PhD programs in the United States and got accepted at Purdue University, which is where I moved then with my still boyfriend at that time. I earned my PhD there. And this is really where my life, I would say, turned, because my PhD thesis focuses on obesity, how we can help people that struggle with their body weight by changing the price of healthy foods, maybe lowering that price, making it more accessible so that communities, populations have higher access to it. So I looked at price changes, I looked at income subsidies, and I also looked at making unhealthy food more expensive. And that was really the gist of my dissertation. And some of the publications for my dissertation won awards for that novel approach, because I linked the prices to body weight and showed this is what would happen if I change the price of this food. This is what will happen in this particular community. On average, the body weight will change by that much. And while it's not an ideal approach to look at body weight, for sure it's not, but it is still a measure of health. Now looking back, really, I realized how this really set into motion that I want to become a health coach, that I want to help others get more access to healthy foods. So my husband and I, we decided then at that point that we were living together. We got along really great. We got married while I was doing my PhD. I started applying for different jobs after graduation, and then moved from the Midwest to first to the South. So I lived in the South for a year, which was very enlightening, especially speaking about food and maybe cultural influences there. Realized that the life in the South was not for me, and then moved to the West, which is where I'm now. I'm at Cal Poly now. I started working in this job on a tenure track position at the university when I was pregnant with my daughter, 5 months. So sometimes I tell my students in the classroom now that you want to have children, but you don't plan out when they come. And you always say, life is just, giving you these nuggets and you just take them for what they are. So yeah, I basically started a brand new job in a brand new location, being pregnant and being on a tenure track, having that pressure of producing and doing great classroom teaching. Hindsight, it was amazing. She was always there with me in my belly, right? Going to the classroom, teaching. It was wonderful. And so I really transformed my life here. Found the foods that I love, started working as a fitness coach, as a health instructor, and now here I am looking back. So I have 2 daughters now, and I have my wellness coaching business with a wonderful online program as well that I've transformed the lives of many people already. Whatever their health goals are, I've helped them reach those health goals. And I also teach in-person classes at the Rec Center on campus, and I teach food marketing and innovation entrepreneurship as a professor. So I kind of have these different areas that are all connected, and they are all feeding each other in a symbiotic relationship.
They are. So it's amazing to see how this journey started many years ago when you only becoming a mom, and now that you're a mom, and you're a mom of girls. And they are teenagers already, right?
Now they are. Oh, did it just freeze?
You froze, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm still there.
So you have 2 teenagers.
For sure, and I'm very open in my family and sharing that I'm struggling with eating, and that's still, my gut issues are still there. When I'm stressed out, the first thing is I get pain in my stomach. Some people have headaches, some people have pain in their neck and their back. That's my thing. So my children are very aware about this, because I feel you have to be open with them and tell them this is my personal struggle. And I'm sharing that with you right now, because the more you know about it, the more you can see, oh, mom is stressed, mom is maybe not feeling well, And now this is what we need to put in place to kind of like help her as a support system right there. So I feel that the more open you are and the more authentic you share this, the more you can help others that are on that journey, especially because I have daughters. So both of them are great eaters and don't struggle with, body image issues, etc. At the same time, I've really learned that growing up, there are little things you can put in place in helping your now my teenage daughters to become strong individuals that kind of like build a little bit of a boundary, not getting influenced by these external factors that might push you into a eating disorder. And I'm really putting my best effort forward in not letting that happen with them.
Yeah,
So
that's really great. And Christiane, I come from a German family.
love it.
So I was normal body build, but for everybody, I was skinny. I was too skinny. I had to take vitamins as a child. I had to take every stuff because they would see me as underweight because the whole family was like more like a stronger build. And like now we're seeing back, I was just like normal. I wasn't like too skinny. I was healthy. But like how family influences how the way you behave throughout food. And I see you on social media, how people look at, I see some comments, and sometimes you have to kind of go back on that because people see you're skinny. You are this person that is skinny. And what are you talking about? Body issues, body confidence when you're already skinny. Like people don't see that people that is not overweight, they do struggle. That's how we have like bulimic and other, eating issues that related with how you feel about yourself, even if you were skinny or if you're chubby. So it was really interesting when my daughter, now she's 7, and now she's starting seeing a little things about body issue that I try to get her like strong on that. Because she'll go to my belly and she's like, oh, I love your belly. Your belly's so fluffy. I love to, she'll kiss my belly. I said, in one point, we started seeing it as a bad thing because she was like 5 and she's like, oh, she loves my belly. Great, And she'll love her belly, her body. And now she starts saying, oh, I don't like this skirt because it shows too much my belly. I don't like this shirt because it's too tight and my belly shows. So like, you look perfect the way you are, and getting to grow that into the person. And I'm just going to combine here a few points for you to answer to me. I just listened to your podcast.
Oh,
and that's wonderful. And I still didn't get a chance to get back that on social media to you, but I'm going to share here now. I really like the episode that you talk about food and how you share this information, how you mix the food in your family, that you allow to eat the ice cream. Episode like stories like it's really interesting that you don't say like a good food, a bad food, healthy food, unhealthy food. You just eat food, and how you balance that inside of the family. It's how you feel good about mixing the things in a natural way, not in a force. Oh, you can have this much of vegetables and then you can have the unhealthy ice cream. No, you just kind of like you show in a way that is so wonderful. And I want to listen that again so I can share that inside of my home. So I want you to share a little bit that how you as a mom, you bring that to your family and you make this harmony with food. That's all we need, because the things are out there and we cannot say, oh, you cannot eat this because they're going to go on their friend's home or they're going to go out with their friends. They're going to be eating this stuff. So they just need to know it's okay to eat. Just kind of understand how much you should eat and how much you should, behave around this type of food.
I really appreciate you bringing this up. In that particular episode on the podcast, the label of that podcast is actually why food labels are great, meaning that when you look at a food that you want to purchase, you can look at what's called the nutrition facts panel, which shows you what I particularly look for is, for instance, how much fiber is in there. I only look for the good stuff. Fiber. I don't want to get too much sugar for the children. And unfortunately, because my younger daughter is gluten-free, sometimes there tends to be in gluten-free foods more sugar to kind of offset the balance of that flavor because there's different grains in it than wheat. So I look for fiber, I look for sugar. I don't really look for calories at all. So I do purchase foods very consciously in the store, and I love these food labels. I don't love labeling foods as this is good, this is bad, this is kind of like a treat or anything, because what you want to feel is that already know when you know that this is a bad food, your mind is already telling you that you should feel guilty when you eat it. You should never feel guilty. You should always feel, I really, really want to enjoy this. And sometimes what I tell my children is close your eyes and very consciously eat and feel the sensation that the food gives you in your mouth when you swallow it. Think about all the flavor profiles that these people put in this amazing, whatever it is, Reese's bar. And don't just throw it in your mouth, but really, really enjoy it. And then think about, how does it make you feel? So by not labeling it as bad, I want that they say, this makes me feel really good. This was something that gives me joy. It was this sweetness. It was this delicious mixture of the peanut butter with the crispiness and the chocolate. And I think that's very important, that we more think about, how does that make me feel? And before you even put it in your mouth, why am I eating it? Because sometimes you're just thirsty. Maybe you just need to drink some water. But we also have emotions. Sometimes maybe you need a warm hug and you feel like drinking a hot chocolate, right? And you can just say, all right, I had a bad day. Can you give me a hug? And then we can still, after the hug, we can still make the hot chocolate. But sometimes it's also that our body is telling us we're craving emotions, and that we are letting foods satisfy the emotions. So social connection is so important in communicating what we need in that moment, instead of just immediately reaching for food to satisfy whatever issue we were struggling with. Or maybe you're stressed and you need something crunchy. Maybe you say, oh, you know what? I'm stressed. I'm really struggling. Can somebody just give me like a little neck massage right here? Or maybe you sit down and you use a foam roller, and afterwards you're like, don't even feel like eating anything crunchy anymore. You know what? That's done now. So it's so important not to label foods, because I think that we need to become more in tune with our body, and more realizing that our body is actually in the moment, just letting us know, here, I need this right now. Love it that you brought this up. Thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the same way that there were, if you want to mention about that, about the body, how you feel to be not this overweight person, the person that comes from the overweight into a coaching, program about body issue, how you want to, to pass that on to your daughters.
Yeah, I feel that in general, in all my classes, I'm a super inclusive person. The moment that somebody walks into my door, no matter what their background is in fitness, in wellness, whether they walk in for the first time or the 50th time, I look at them as a person that chose to be there on that day. And it's an honor for me to teach them. And so I tell people that no matter your body shape, your fitness experience, or your background, you are amazing for who you are, and you should be so grateful for what your body does every single day. And just getting your body moving and feeding nutritious foods to your body is really what the best thing we can do. Like thinking about how amazing it is every day to wake up and being grateful. And then at the end of the day, at dinner, we talk about what were we really amazed about today? What was the best part of our day when we eat dinner? And it's just such an important mindset approach, that you think it's independent about how I look like, but much more dependent on, all right, this is all the great things that my body did for me here today, and looking at it more as something, as like a vessel that you want to take care of and that you're sharing with the world.
That's great. I have 3 questions that I want to close our conversation, and it's very on the mom side related. I wanted to share with me, what is the most hard decision you have to take or have done as a mother? like either with one or both daughters or on a personal level, what is the hardest decision that you ever have taken in your life?
I think looking back now, because I started a brand new job when I was pregnant and I was on the 10-year track, the hardest decision was really that because I didn't have a lot of maternity leave. And no, in the United States, it's not like Germany where you get a year of maternity leave. So I had to put both of my daughters very early on into childcare. And looking back now, I wish that I would have been in a position where I could have taken more time off, but I wasn't. So I had to work full-time at the university, and my children really were at the children's center from 7:30 until 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. And that was a long day, and they were only 3 months old. I wish, looking back, that I wouldn't have had to do this, but it had to happen in that moment. So that was very difficult for me. And now I'm trying to make an even more intentional time with them, to spend time with them and making sure that they know I'm there for them.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's I can totally see that. And what is the moment, same thing with both or either, that probably with both of them, that you would love to relive over and over again? Like experiences so far, always you're gonna have new experience, but the ones that you lived so far that it came, like the first thing that comes to your mind, oh my gosh, I would love to have the moment again.
So in the summer when the children don't have school, sometimes we don't plan a lot in terms of travel. But what we do, my daughters and myself, my husband works a lot, so he goes off in the mornings and come back at night. We have these cute little paper planners that basically lay out each day of the week, and we give days little names. For instance, we make it Library Monday, and Thriving Tuesday, and Wellness Wednesday. And so then on these days, we plan out things, we call it the 3 blondies, right? Because we are kind of all like blonde. We plan out little activities, whether that's going to the beach, going to the library, going downtown. And I love these summers. So if I could relive a moment, I would always think of the summers when we have our amazing days that are themed, and how much fun we have just enjoying the area where we live, but our community that we really build as a family. That's to me very precious.
That's wonderful. I love that. Thank you so much, Christiane.
Thank you. I look forward to connecting more.
See you around, and I'm gonna share your links when I share this video, where people can find you, and and all the wonderful things that you can keep doing and share with people. Thanks so much for your time.
Bye.
Bye.